Hello, everybody. Hello. I thought I would do a really quick, like how I'm doing in the Sterling Ink Undated A5. Um, yeah, I've been kind of diving deeper into this over the last week. So if you've seen my other videos, they were just like getting all the stickers in and then showing how I then put a cheaper cover. And you know what? I am just fine with this cover. I think I might dress it up a little bit more next year if I get the dated one and stuff like that. I am very much enjoying this one. I wasn't sure if I would be reaching for the Sterling Ink one as much as like my Moxie Life is more for like the day to day, and I was putting some work stuff in there. But no, I've found that I'm really drawn to this. And it's like this dumping spot that I can get my business ideas out in. And it's really, I'm just thrilled that it's something that I don't feel like is an extra thing every day to do. It's something where I needed space to be messy, to just kind of get everything out of my head and also progress towards the goals that I did make. So since the last time I showed this, I did input all my goals, and I will show those to you and kind of show how this is kind of developing. Although I'm still a very much newbie to this. I don't have a Hobonichi. I jumped straight into this one because it was so plain. And I do have a Hobonichi Weeks coming for a health planner that I'm going to try, because it's really hard for me to put health stuff in business. I mean, my health does affect my business because I have multiple chronic illnesses, and there are days I just have a lot of trouble working. And then all the regular being a mom stuff is over in my Moxie Life. So I never thought I would have this many planners. I will just say that. But I'm finding a groove with all of these. I do have to admit the Laurel Denise, which I want to go back to, is like, unfortunately, that one's taking a timeout right now. So let me get into this one. And I would be really interested if you would want to see kind of a plan with me real quick, business-wise, every week. I do a plan with me that I release Sunday mornings with my Moxie Life, and I just talk about life stuff. But I'm wondering, I don't know, there's something about this. I don't know if it's because I want to be held accountable for things. I don't know. I still have this card, and I'm going to take this out. It's just was like to show like, hey, would I want to put anything there? No, not really. So I did talk about, I'm trying to get my eraser stuff out of here. I did talk about in these first couple pages here, I wrote out my schedule so that, because my business is, I do energy planning for as a coach, and what energy planning is your physical energy. Lots of people with chronic illness or who are neurodivergent can have a lot of overwhelm, and a lot of their bodies are tired. And I very much identify with that. And so I do help people manage that and just try to schedule as flexible and just like the day-to-day how to do that. So I am a coach. So this planner is coming from that perspective that I am a business coach, because I am. So I have my packages and my prices. So I have my offers. But I also have like the schedule I can look at and go, okay, this is kind of more in pen, although I use an erasable pen, which I will get back to in a moment. But then I pencil in the rest because it's really easy to erase. So those are my like beginning pages. And then I have some buffer here. I did fill out this. And so these aren't so private. I'm being kind of transparent here. But I had these goals kind of penciled out last time. So I'm, looking for new clients, not too many. I can't handle very many. So I'm just looking at 1 or 2 clients. Down the road someday, I would love to have like 5, but it's a lot of energy to manage them, but also a lot of like my bandwidth is just small. I'm looking at like social media, YouTube, my website being updated, and the podcast, and then my finances down here is mainly just staying on top of them. I did kind of a reset with my business finances, which has been awesome. I have been doing a lot of, I have some new financial trackers that I'm using in these beautiful spreadsheets, and it just makes so much more sense now to just stay on top of everything. And yeah, and it also helped me like audit, like what services do I still want to pay for. And I went through. And so at the beginning of the year, I just kind of have that all cleaned up now. It wasn't that messy. It was just like, oh, I am paying for a few extra things here that, and then getting onto like a weekly, schedule of paying off my business credit card. So it stays at 0 all the time, which is just kind of nice. Then I don't have to like deal with the bigger once a month. Okay, I have to pay all this. It was just kind of nice to switch to that. So yeah, this is kind of my goals for the year, and kind of having a someday on there. Getting to like 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube would be nice. I just want to thank everyone who's hopped on my channel. Sorry, I just realized this was down a little bit. Yeah, just welcome everyone. I'm pleasantly surprised that everyone is enjoying this, and I hope if you want to see more of this planner, yeah, stick around. Yeah, so, but my goal is, I would love to, at the end of next March, get to 1,000. That would be really cool. It might happen before then, though. So then I took those, and I had these kind of penciled in, but this just was, it was unassigned, and it was like a really super, like, I wish I could get all this done, and I did it before I really looked at stepping everything out here. So then I actually went to the previous page and then focused on, okay, what are those 5 things besides finances? I pretty much have that covered. Is like, what can I do for the quarter and what can I do for the month for those specific goals? So transferring those over and then taking those, and I do have the balance one. I just balance every single day when I do my personal finances as well. Capturing ideas. I'm practicing that. I think I've captured some more than these, but these are my podcast the day before I release my podcast, and capturing those podcast ideas. So the podcast I just released this week was like, where is your, what did I call it? Messy zone. I want to say messy space, but it's not, because my podcast is called My Senses, My Space. But it's talking about having, like, where is that place where you can be messy so that you can create. And for me, this is part of my messy, that I can be very imperfect in here so that I can create the work that I do. So grabbing those like ideas that I have about the podcast and getting them written down has been like, I'll get inspiration all the time and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll remember that. But my memory is not great. And so, yeah, just getting them written down. And I did this week, and I'll kind of show that. So I'm just kind of tracking these. And then I also came up with like a client routine that I'm like, I penciled it in. I'll show you here in a little bit. And it's going to need refinement. Again, it's one of those things where I got messy. I just dumped it in here, and it's going to be refined over time, and then I can apply it to my routines. So I have like a financial routine of balancing and looking at all my numbers in the morning, and then like running a client routine, which is actually combining social media in there a little bit. So it's tending to comments, it's answering people's questions, it's getting back to people who have showed interest, and it's tending to my current clients and touching base with them and stuff like that. So it's a whole routine that I'm kind of trying out. So this is all in pencil, and I'll show why that I'm using this pen over here because it feels good over here to make dots. I don't have to make too many changes, although I did here. I was writing in the wrong column. Because I make so many mistakes in here, but I need clear information. So I do erase a lot. And then down here, I will eventually put like social media numbers. I usually do it like, so with April, it'll be the last day of April. Yeah, I don't think it'll be the first. That's what gets a little, I get a little confused in my head, is like, am I doing it the last day of April? And here it feels like it's more appropriate to do it on the 30th because it's at the end. And then as May starts, so I think I'll do it this way. In here, in my other trackers, I mean, essentially you're doing it the 30th or the 1st. It's the same time, but are you labeling it for April or May? So that's what that is. And then these are still blank. So we'll see how this transforms. I feel like this is still a little messy in here. I would like to have something, when I write in pen, I feel a lot more sure about what is being done with it. So I feel more sure about this. I put totally different tracker things up here and kind of tracked through mid-month, and I'm like, no, that's not helping me get to any of these goals, which I had just made, right? Like I had just made the goals, realized I needed to kind of redo this section, and yeah, it's still in between. This is very transitional, and I think a lot of people are that way. So and this is just a Moxie Life thing, so I can kind of keep track of my months. So then I can flip to my month. And I'm starting out in April in this book, and this will go through March of 2024. And so then I was able to take, well, what are those important things I need to do for the month? This is directly from these month items here. Going, okay, I'm looking at the month. These are my planned out YouTube videos, mostly here. And then these are my podcasts. So I just released this one today. I'm doing this on Wednesday. And I think I'm going to get this video out same day. So, and then I'm going to be doing resets here, which is usually a reset of all my personal goals and things like that. But I might do one for this too. Actually, I think that's what this is. I can't quite do a reset video for this. I don't know. It's so up in the air. I'm enjoying this so much. And then like when I flip over to this one, I just have these kind of penciled in just to kind of know what episode I am on, because I do a weekly podcast, because I was counting ahead just to kind of see how many episodes I could do within the year. I wanted to kind of pencil those in. So when it comes to weekly. Weekly is next. So then I decided, well, weekly needed a splash of color. I had been looking previously at weekly. Weekly, I just so much associate with my personal Moxie Life vertical. So it's hard because I feel like I'm just kind of repeating here. And so this was like the previous week. And I did have like, okay, I'm getting through this to-do list. And guess what? I got this one done too. So it was nice to kind of like have an overall, like, what do I want to get done for the week? And here's my plans. I also have like client, like when they buy a package, they get 10 sessions. And so my client just renewed. And so she has 2 sessions, like number 1 and number 2 this week. So I can count those off a little better. I thought that would be really nice to go like through the weeks and go, oh, okay, she's on session 4. And my scheduler can say that, but sometimes it's just nice to kind of look in here. And then I'm working through these, having, let's see, I'm trying to think what intro is. Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking through here. This might need a little bit of updating. The one thing I'm noticing is I'm loving that the pen shows up a whole lot better. It just feels more solid that these are the plans that I have. And many people who are seasoned with this paper will know that, using the friction pens on this paper is not the best idea. It definitely has like big indentations now. So that's the one thing is like when I do have to reschedule things, and there was a lot the last couple days, like a lot changed rescheduling wise. And so I have like a lot of divots in here. But for the most part, I mean, it's my messy zone. I keep wanting to call it messy space. I can call it either. But I feel like the more accurate this is when I need it accurate when I look back. So double checking to make sure, we used up all the sessions from that package, because people renew with me multiple times. And so I just need to know, I don't need to know what number package they're on. I just need to know what number session. So this could be like package 8 for this person, but it's still, we're working through a 10 session. And so, I felt like that was a whole lot clearer. Like my software can handle how many times they buy packages and all that kind of stuff. But having just like a little accent here, some color, some like pen on here, and then we'll see how this next week goes. So then I get into the daily, and this is where, and yes, I'm finding this very handy. I tried to cover up most of the things that I'm like, are a little sensitive. I'm finding instead of doing like, let's see, where I had, here's a good, no, it's towards the beginning here. So like the very first one, I was doing like a time strip thing here. These were my really early days where I was like mapping out like what months I going to highlight on the side. Here it's like a time strip there, and then I was kind of like color coding. So I found that I didn't really need a time strip here. I would rather manage my time on the weekly and just have it as like a dump. So like a brain dump. And so here was like my to-do list. Here were some notes. I watched a video and I wanted to get some notes jotted down. And then this was my podcast idea. Where's your messy zone? Messy like work zone. How do you determine if it's clean enough? I think that next one might be a whole nother podcast because I did kind of touch upon that. But I think there's a good idea about how do you know that your creative space is clean enough. So I would love to talk more about that. And then I had like, client routine. Here's kind of like a penciled in, really quick, what my ideas about what client routine means. And routine means for me that I am at least having my eyes upon these things so that I'm having kind of a consistent stay on top of it. Instead of going once a month going, oh my goodness, I have a couple inquiries in my inbox here that I never tended to. Like, I'm pretty good with email. Like I'm on it all the time, but there could be like something out there, a comment that I just don't check, a social media platform or something that I just forget about. And so this routine helps me kind of stay upon like what's important for that. And I actually went through and redid the tops here so that it had just the day of the week and the date, keeping it really simple on top. I had like cursive written in the top and I just didn't like it. So I went through and I erased them. And then let's see. So yeah, I have like, this is the basic template going forward. But then in May, I'm like, well, I have some extra stickers. I'm going to use like just this time strip, calendar strip, whatever it is that I had left over from all of her sticker pack. And then I also had some extra numbers. So I put the first on here and then I used these, although for some reason I had like a 3rd through the 5th that I just didn't have available. No, through the 7th. When did I get back to it? The 8th. Had a little gap there, but I'm using these numbers here just because I like the font and I was going to use them up. So these are the bigger weekly numbers that I'm using up. And then I have a whole like page. What am I thinking of? Sheet. That's the smaller numbers from the monthly that I'll put into these top corners as well. And so this just, I could write random notes in here. Like I will go back and see, like if I didn't have a list on that day, particularly on a Saturday or Sunday, I will just dump other notes into there. And maybe it would be beneficial for me to go back here and keep an index. I may do that. So this isn't April 1st, but maybe I could use this as an entire index. I'm just kind of thinking of like here was my client routine ideas. Here's some other ideas, like just keeping the page number there so I can go back. Because that's the one thing I'm finding is like, I didn't realize I had my idea here on April 21st on that Friday on, page 21. So I could go and just say, well, page 21 had some ideas on it. So go look at it. And yeah, who knows what the rest of these, I did go through and do these. Yeah, I found them for almost every month and then I stopped numbering them because I'm just kind of gonna see if like I have these correctly numbered. Although if I'm a day off in all of these, it's okay. So here, I need to trim this because there's only 30 days. So I just need to trim that little bottom one off. And then towards the end here, I think it was December. Yeah, I need to like take some of these and put them down here, or like, I'm kind of like patching them in, if that makes sense. So that they all have that. I don't know what I'm using for that yet. Like most of the strips I did have, there was like December, and this one has 29 days because we have a leap year next year. And then this one needs some help. So mainly it was the ones that started on Friday that I didn't have enough. So like March and December just need a little help. So that's my update. So again, very beginner mind with all of this, but I'm very much enjoying it and seeing how my pen and pencil work in there has been, it helps a lot. I do love how dark the pen is. It makes, my mid-40s eyes very happy. But then there's a lot of erasing and kind of moving around. So I have pencil in there too. And so I'm not using any highlighters or color pens in here at all. I'm liking that I'm just using like stickers. I think, having like just a little highlight here. I might want a little bit more color on the monthly. I feel like it could just use a little bit more. Maybe this is where I might use some zig dot markers just to kind of, that's the thing though, is like if things get moved around, those dots are permanent. And I don't like that. I'm a former and still current web designer, and I love that I can always change a website, that it's not permanent. And I'm the same here because I make so many mistakes because of my dyslexia, because And then just also moving things around because I need flexibility with my chronic illnesses. So nothing for me is set in stone. Things are just kind of very flexible, yet I need to kind of keep consistency going. And that's kind of the world I live in. So that's an update. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Let me know if you're interested in seeing like a weekly plan with me or like a monthly in this. Since it's very business oriented, I would be talking about my business and looking at things. So like my current thing for the week right now is investing in some scheduling software that I've been getting really good feedback about, but I'm like, okay, do I want to invest that much? Because it's kind of pricey. So yeah, I'm just kind of weighing back and forth on like, where is my best business investments right now to go long term. So I think that's it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you everyone who's new here. And I will see you next time. I'm definitely going to be doing more in this because it's scary to talk about these things because I usually don't talk about the inner workings of my business, but I think it's something I need to kind of try and push myself forward with. So until next time, like and subscribe on your way out, and I hope to see you again. Bye.